Hello again, welcome back. This is Nima. Today we're gonna be working with these little birds in here. Let me show you one of this in here. This bird, it has 3 layers. Now I do have some others that they're a lot simpler with 2 layers. This is the original one that I made. It's a 3 layers on each one smaller than the other one. And then I also made a tag, and this is a simple tag, a background that I found, and I make the little bird. It's just 2 circles together. We're gonna learn how to do this, and I put a ribbon on the top, and I put a little message. This message is a message that I stamped, but I have some others that are messages that I have written myself. They're very simple to make. You can make them from any piece of paper. I have papers that they're double side papers, and you can make them with this. You can make them also with simple paper that they have a design on one side only. Or you can make them with magazines. In fact, this one in here is made from one magazine. So let me show you the process of making all this in here. I'm going to make one card for you. But once you learn how to make these little birds, you're going to learn that the process is really, really simple. Here I have 2 birds in here, and my hands are all inked because I've been playing with ink in here. And this one, like I said, had the 3 layers. This one 2 layers, and you can use them the other side. I just normally I pick one side, and that's the one that I use in my card. So to make this, we're gonna need paper. And like I said, you can use paper that is a double-sided. And I have some in here, double-sided. You can use just a regular cardstock or construction paper, whatever you have in hand. And if you're using magazines, and this is one magazine that I have. Fashion magazines are the best because you can find a lot of colors, and sometimes just a piece of the dress can become a nice background in here. For the card that I made in here, I use part of her dress, and I use this leaf in here for the other bird. So we just need to use our imagination, and then we need to cut the different circles. Now I have a standard. I'm using 1 inch, 1.5, and if you want a really, really big one, then this is like 2 inches in diameter, right? And the way that we do this is that if you're gonna use, and I have all my pieces already pre-cut just to show you. This is a double-sided, and if you're gonna use just as a simple one, because it has 2 sides, you can just fold it. Don't fold it all the way in half. Just leave a little edge in there, so that will be that second layer in there. But let's say that you're using paper that it is just 1 layer paper. I have in here, this paper is only 1 layer. And I have in here another one that is from a magazine, and I don't want to show the other side in the back because it's not really important. So what I'm going to do in here, and let me just zoom in here a little bit. I can actually use some others that they have better contrast, just so you can see the difference Right, I'm gonna use this two in here. And I'm gonna fold the one that is gonna be the main one in half. And then I'm gonna fold this one just slightly, that you can see an edge in there. So we're gonna have two circles that originally they were the same side, but now when you put them together, they're gonna show an edge. Right? And even when they're not double-sided, you're gonna get the same effect as if you use one paper that is double-sided, right? And then you can always use it the other side if you want to as well. So following that same method, we're gonna make one card. So let me get all the materials together and then we're gonna start. So let's go over everything that we need for this project. I started with a piece of paper, a whole piece of paper, the one that you use for the printer, and I folded that one in two. I cut it, and this is gonna be our card base. We're gonna put this on the side. We're gonna use it later. I have this in two colors because I had this construction paper in this light blue, and depending on how everything looks, I might use this one or the white one. So let's put this on the side for later. We're gonna need different cardstock that are the ones that we're gonna use for our birds, and I already went ahead and cut my circles. To cut my circles, you can use circle cutters if you have them. If not, you can make a little template. I had a lid in here, and then I used it to make the base, the template for this circles. And I made 1 inch, 1.5, and 2 inches, and these are those sizes that I have in here. So what I do is I position the circle that I want in the area that I select, and then I'm gonna trace that around and cut this circle. So like I said, I already went ahead and cut all my circles, and that way you don't have to wait for me to cut the circles. But I wanted to show you that you have this template, and to cut it easier, you can fold it just in half, and then in that way you get a perfect circle in there. I'm gonna put this on my templates. What else I have in here? I have a base to make my card, and I'm thinking I have two options. I can make it a little smaller, like this one in here, and if you have a scissor that cuts those designs, feel free to do that. We can cut it a little, just the size of the card, and then hand trimmed like I did in here. Or we can just make it the full size, and once we decide what we're gonna do with that, then we can cut it all or leave it just like that. So the first thing that I need is to make my birds. To make the birds, since this is a base that I'm gonna use, I'm gonna try to get colors that match my base, or at least that they'll create a contrast. I have one paper in here that is a double-sided. I'm gonna use this one as one of the examples. And this one, since it's a double-sided, I'm just gonna cut it fold it once. Like I say, you're not going to fold all the way in half. You want to leave a little bit, and it's up to you how much you want to leave in there. Now for the other bird, I'm thinking on doing the example of using two circles, different colors, and then I'm going to cut the circles the same size. The one that is going to go on the top, that one will be folded in half, and this is my top one. If it's something that is not a thin as paper, cardstock or something, and if you need to fold it straight and make sure that that is really, that edge is really sharp, you can use a popsicle and then run it over the popsicle. So we have this part, and I have glue in my hand, and then this is gonna be the contrast one, and then you need to decide how much you need to show. And I think that much will be enough. It creates a good contrast with my background. So I'm gonna fold this. Oh, there's another option that I have in there. Oh, really nice. Okay, good to know. All right, so this is gonna be the bird. You can pick a different side. I have more blue in here. Yep, I like it that way. So the next thing we need is to make the tail and the beak, and for that I have red, I have orange, I have yellow. You can use brown, whatever you want. I like to use bright colors. So for this one in here, it has a little bit of yellow. I think I'm gonna go with the beak in yellow. And then for this one, I'm gonna use this orange in here. And I think for both of them, I'll be using red on the tail. The beak is really, really easy to cut. You just need to, let me see where my scissors went. Here it is. It's all depends on the size that you want. It's just gonna be a little triangle. And I like to make them different. And then for the tail, we're gonna do a little heart. Now here is my process for the heart. I cut two pieces, one for each, and then I'm gonna go from the middle, and this on the top in here, that's where it's gonna be where I'm gonna have the heart shape, and this is gonna be the point. All right, and then I'm just gonna connect those in there. And yes, it's gonna be a little long heart. That's okay, because what we want is that part to be inside, right? The other thing is that it doesn't need to be equal, symmetric. You can just make it very whimsical anyway. These birds are really, really whimsical. That will be a good way to define these little birds. They're very whimsical birds. Now I have two hearts, two little beaks. The hearts are gonna be the tail. We're gonna use glue. You can use the sticky glue, whatever is easier for you. The first thing for the little one is that we need to glue the one that it is uneven, the one that is not folded all the way and to the half, to half. Here it is, I'm all confused. All right. We're gonna add the beak in there, and we're gonna add the tail. And then we're gonna fold this, and now you can move it a little bit just for the direction that you want. Make it funky, make it straight, whatever way you want. For the top layer, I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue on either side. And this is my blue one, my blue side. And it's okay to leave it like that. It just make it look a little more funky, as long as all the pieces inside are glue. So we have one. For this one, that I'm gonna keep it as one piece of paper, I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna run a little bit of glue on the top. On one side, I'm gonna put the beak. Hold on. I think I'm gonna have these two facing each other. And then the heart on the other side. And like I said, once you fold them, then you can adjust the way that you want the tail and the beak to go. I think I'm gonna have them just like that. If this is kind of the mama, and I'm gonna put this one a little higher. That's the baby. Right? So we have that part ready. We can put them aside so they finish getting dry. And let's work on the background. For my background, I would like to have a layer on the bottom for the birds to stand. You don't have to give them a base, but I like to do that. And I'm thinking that if this is gonna be spring, why not to add flowers? I have these flowers. They're kind of big, and I have some other that they're smaller. Actually have other flowers in here. They're a little smaller than those. We can add some of these flowers, or we can add just the green. Now I have another idea, and it's that on top of this green, we can put the flower. Just have a little layer in there, right? Now, I don't like it that straight. It's just not my style. But again, you do it your way, whatever way you want. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna cut portion, and I'm just gonna rip this in here. And I don't want to make it straight. I wanna make it as, not very uneven, just give it like some curve in there, as you can see. And that's gonna be the base. Now I'm gonna have my birds in here, and then under that I'm gonna add my flowers, and I'm gonna do exactly the same thing. This time, this was to make sure that I follow a similar shape. I'm gonna trace a little bit in here where the flowers are. And I know that this one, I'm gonna cut it, I'm gonna trim this to be a little lower than the other one. So it's okay if it's a little different. You can use scissors too if you want to. And if you have some of those scissors that they cut some nice shape, you can use those as well. I just want something that it just looks really natural and whimsical. All right, that's what we have in here. So let me glue this one on top of this one, because this is the size of my base. I already know that. And here is my trick for these situations in here. Since they're not the same length, and I know that this is gonna be my standard one, I'm gonna glue that one in there. All right, don't worry if a little bit of glue comes out, that's fine, that will get dry. And then I'm gonna switch this. It's a calendar from last year, and I'm gonna cut this one in here. And another option, if you don't have papers like this, you can always use your pens, your crayons, and then draw that in there. Or you can find in a magazine a nice picture that you can use. Got my birds. I think I'm gonna add some clouds in there. And for that, something blue nice in here. I do have these little flowers. And I'm gonna draw my my clouds in the back. Just very simple. Let me just do it on markers so you can see it very well. I have this marker in here. Let's see if this, yep, so you can see it better in there. And I'm gonna do 3 different shapes. And probably when I'm cutting this, I'm not gonna follow exactly the same shape. I'll try, no promises. And it's okay because this is the bag. Got one. My daughter calls these birds taco birds. She lives in New York, I live in Florida. And I called her to show her the birds, and she said, "Mom, I love them. They look like tacos. They should be called the taco birds." So I'm calling them the taco birds. I'm sure that they have a different name, but definitely they look like tacos. All right, so we got my clouds in there. As I'm placing everything in there, I'm thinking that I have a little too much of the area that is gonna be the bottom. So I'm gonna trim this a little, maybe like a 1/2 inch. That way I have room on the top for everything else that I want to add in there. Right? And we're going to start putting all this together. We're going to use the glue. You can use any type of glue. I prefer to put my glue in a small container. I'm going to start with what is gonna be the grass in here. And there's some other things that are you can do to the little birds. Make sure that is straight, and I have to trim this portion in here. Let me show you one of these birds in here, one of the pictures. Let's see. I have one in here. Almost couldn't find it. That I outline certain things, including the bird, the beak, and the tail. Excuse me, the tail. That's actually something that you can do just to give it more dimension. And maybe on this case, I'm gonna do it. I just noticed that this guy is really little big in there. And you can use a Sharpie, a pen, and go around, or you can use a marker, maybe in the gray, if you don't want to make it so strong, and but you want some shadow to show in there. You can use marker in gray, and then you get that shadow that creates the contrast. And I'm adding the shadow on the tail also a little bit, just to give it a little more dimension. And you see how it's changing. I'm changing the marker, and these markers are not really expensive. They're just really, I think I pay like $5 for the whole package. They're for kids, for school, so I didn't want to use anything super fancy. We still have to make the eyes in here, but let's figure out the way that we're gonna place everything in here. And I want this to go in here. For the clouds, if you want to give it also a little bit of a shade, you can use a marker, you can use a pen and go around. If you have a marker just like this one, this is where all my ink comes from my fingers. You can just go around, and that will make it, you see the difference between this one and this one? That will make it a little darker. I just go around here, and this happens to be the same or similar color to the little flowers inside. Yep. Otherwise, they're kind of no difference between one and the other. The other option is that if you want to use stickers, you can use stickers. If you find some nice cloud stickers, sometimes we have circle stickers, and we can just trim them. This is a spring card. You can use it for Easter, you can use it for Mother's Day, but it is definitely very much spring card. If you have the two birds, it can be a Mother's Day gift, of course. Now I'm going to place this cloud one on top of the other. And I'm going to put the other one in here, and I'm going to leave a little section for the message. We can put the message right in the middle. We can put the message on the side. I think I'm going to add my message right in there. That's where I'm going to put that corner in there. Now that I have an idea where everything is going, I'm going to start gluing from the back front. Let's keep that one in there. I'm gonna put some glue in this one. I'm gonna put the other one in front. I'm just adding some glue. No, I want this one to be a little lower so I can save some space for the message. And I think I maybe use something like hello spring. All right, so let's talk about the little legs, because this bird have no legs. For the legs, you can draw the legs after you glue the birds, but I prefer just to make a little mark in here and then draw the legs now. And use my pencil so I know that the birds are in the right position, the way that I want them. Yep. Okay. And this one, yep, I'm gonna put it right in the back, and then see, that's why we use that's why I like to use my pen first, or my pencil first. Do the marks with the pencil. I have 3 legs. And if you want to make it like a little knee in there, make a dot for the knee. And then the marks that you did, you're gonna erase them. Right, so now the birds are sitting on top of the legs. So let me erase those marks. Definitely like to use my pencil first. And that way I know for sure where I want and where I think the pieces will go. Okay. So now I can swing this bird, put them whatever shape. I think I like them like that, kind of singing up. All right. And the legs, they come out not in the middle, more like from the middle to the back. Unless you want your bird to see it. If you want your bird to be sitting down, then yeah. Oops, too much glue in here. Let's clean that glue. All right. So this is a card that we can make in the house with everything we have. We don't have to worry about fancy tools. This is just something that you can do yourself. Right now it is more like a postcard because I didn't put anything in the back. In fact, you can use it just like that. Put your message, write something nice in the back, and then keep it just like that. Or you can turn it into a greeting card. And to do that, me just expand this a little. The other way, Norma. Right. And I have half of paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it. If you're using cardstock and you want to just score the piece first, you can do it with one of those tools that it has the ball in there, or if you don't have that, you can use a toothpick. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect in there, but once you know your dimension to where your score line is going, and this is 8.5, so I'm gonna put a little mark in there of 4.25, and I'm gonna put another mark at the bottom. And I'm gonna run this, and again I'm gonna do it with the toothpick time. And here we have a little score mark, and then we're gonna fold that way, right? If you did your pencil marks too hard like I did, make sure to erase those. And I'm using a popsicle to make sure that that fold is done straight in there, right? So with that, we just have to glue our card to the face, or front. Well, this is the front of the card. Glue it in here. There's a couple more things that we can do to make sure that it looks really pretty and fancy. I mean, just like that, I like it a lot. But we can make a few other things. If you like to add some scribbles, or maybe add the little birds. For the little birds, they're really easy to make. To make one of those little birds, you just need to do like a V. On one side, you do the little curve in, and then from that curve you go out and lift it, so that wing is gonna be a little longer, right? And that can be done with any pen. Let's say that you want to do it with something that it looks a little thinner. It's the same thing, right? So we can do that. We can also add some little scribbles on the side of the card. We can make a little line in there to make it kind of funky. We still have to do the eye. Now that I look at my birds, they have no eye. If you have a postcard mark, you can do a white circle and then on top a black one. Or if you have one of those, it's more like white ink, but white ink takes a little longer time to dry, so I'm just gonna add the eye with the Sharpie. I want the eye to be a circle in here, as circle as possible. All right, now they look like birds. Yeah, they look like tacos too, but they do look like birds. Let's glue this around. You can use your glue stick, you can use your white glue, anything you want. I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue in here. What I like that it's the same size of the card is that I don't have to worry about leaving the same distance on either side. I'm gonna decorate this a little bit. Let me just show you what I'm gonna do in here. My board is all ink in here. I'm just gonna kind of trace some lines around the tail. You can use any pen you have. And what I did is just tracing around the tail. If you do the big, make sure that you do it very, very thin. It's not necessary, but just, whoops, something like that could happen too. And then if you want, you can just go around. And this is a very thin pen. And I'm gonna go twice, kind of framing this in here. And I'm gonna go twice, and it's okay if it's not. In fact, I am intentionally not putting line them up perfectly. We can do some stitches line. And if you want to bring it into the other part, go ahead and do that too. And I think I'm gonna stop right here because I am going way too much now. What happened is these ones, they're kind of light on the top, and I would like to do something to bring them up a little bit more. Whatever you want to do to decorate your card will be just perfect. Okay? So I'm going to finish right here. This is the card that we just made. And again, this is something that you can do it yourself at home. No other things that glue, paper, scissors, and a little bit of imagination. So thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for coming back to my little series, and next month we'll bring in something new. Thank you.